Hi there, this is Matt again, and the reason for this video is just to give you an idea of what to expect in your telehealth therapy with me, as well as how to make the absolute most out of it. So telehealth I found is just such a great medium and ways I never expected, because for over 15 years I've worked in brick and mortar situations and in person with people, which has always been wonderful, but I've been surprised at the level of effectiveness that telehealth can actually have, especially when you're able to be in the comfort of your own home or your vehicle, or maybe you can break away from work for an hour and go into like a quiet break room or something like that. It's those things can be really helpful. I found that people are able to make their appointments more consistently than before, when they'd have to drive to an office. So I think telehealth actually has more opportunities than it does challenges, but it does have a few challenges, which is why I want to talk about how to get the most out of your therapy, especially based off the last 2 years I've been doing telehealth work, versus the in-person. You want to try as best you can to try to mimic the experience of going to an office. But again, you don't have to worry about like wearing shoes, you can be in your pajamas and all that, but you want to secure confidentiality. This room I'm in, I set up my background in such a way to be consistent. This is like my office space. I'm ensure that it's confidential, my door is closed, it's sound protected, so and I am not disturbed during my appointments. And so I would encourage you to do the very same as much as you possibly can. I found that people that have computers or laptops tend to have a lot of opportunities to be more successful as well, because sometimes I can send you links to different things you could do online during our appointment, like different activities and stuff. Especially for young people, I like to do like online games sometimes after when we're wrapping up appointments. There's a lot of opportunities, if at all possible, but a phone is just fine. You don't have to be at home. I've had extremely successful appointments while people have been in their cars. That said, I recommend don't try to do an appointment while driving. Be in a parking spot somewhere, be seated. I also recommend, if you do have your phone, try to set up your phone in such a way to where you can take your hands off the phone and you can just talk and have freedom of motion with your hands. Maybe you could take notes. I find that a lot of people, when they have like paper handy to take notes, they find it helpful, because I tend to, during appointments, give a lot of recommendations for a lot of videos, a lot of guided meditations, programs, resources, books. I tend to provide you with a lot of information. So I find that people that are able to write down notes and stuff like that have a lot of success. Other people I found that have a lot of success tend to take me up on my book recommendations. Very often I tend to recommend books that I think could be very helpful in your journey. So I would recommend, if for whatever reason you're just not in a place where, financially you can do a book, it's perfectly fine. There's never any pressure to purchase anything outside of your appointments that you're doing. So, but that said, if at all possible, I do recommend it. There tends to be some common resources that I tend to recommend that help people out a lot. And lastly, and really I meant to mention it earlier, but I'll mention it right now, is making sure that you have as few distractions as possible. Again, preserve your confidentiality. This is your time, this is your appointment. I want you to preserve your confidentiality. Maybe this is a time when the kids are having a nap, when you're meeting. Maybe you let friends and family know you're not available for this time. But the less distractions you can have, as possible, the better. Because you might find you need to dig into something and you don't need other ears somewhat nearby, maybe being able to hear some of what you're saying, because you're needing to work through some things. And so that's a disadvantage that can happen in telehealth. And a way you can ensure that is getting yourself a quiet, confidential space. free of distractions. I've had a lot of people who've been able to have a family member or a spouse or a friend or somebody who's been able to step in and been able to help eliminate the distractions while they're in their appointments. So so those are some of my suggestions, some things to expect. And I look forward to again meeting you. If you have any more questions about how you can make this process the best possible, then let me know. Bye.